Welcome, every single body. Welcome back to the Healing Exchange podcast. Last week they had me crying because I did Grieving Part 1 by myself, and I talked about it. Grieving with God Part 1, and I talked about it. And a lot of people were blessed by it. I was very, very, very shocked. A lot of people are grieving.
Yes.
And
yes, we are.
And a lot of people don't talk about it much, like express it, because it's kind of, I don't know about y'all, but grief, like, be trapped in my body sometimes.
All the time.
You know, and it's hard to,
very much so.
Very hard to express. But y'all know what to do. We already getting a conversation. I always forget my name. Subscribe to the Healing Exchange on YouTube if you watching, because most of y'all watch more than you do audio. So if you watching, subscribe. If you listening, like the pages on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Healing_exchange, Instagram, TikTok, at Jacquilla MC. Add me on Facebook. That's just me, Jacquilla McFarley. And now we have Miss Tuwanan Ware, because y'all be saying her name wrong. And I'm going to talk about it because it's not Tuwana. She let y'all do that. It's Tuwanan Ware. To my show, to my couch. I call this my mansion for now. Everybody that come here, 5 bedrooms.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, 4 bedrooms. So
and
welcome.
I agree with you. Thank you for having me.
Welcome
Thank you for having me. Yes,
so,
ma'am.
Icebreaker question, because we're about to get deep.
Okay.
What do you do for fun?
Ooh.
Like, by yourself, what do you do for fun? Like, no, not worried about nobody.
Oh, my goodness.
What do you do?
Girl, that's a hard one.
Really?
Absolutely.
You do anything for fun by yourself?
I don't do anything by myself. My time is with everyone, unfortunately. Even, like I said, even my time spending time with other people, that's what I do for fun. I know it may sound weird. I know it. But, I mean, I don't. If I'm home, just, now that sports is back on, or football.
Oh, you're a sports fan?
Sports. I can't do the Housewives, the basketball wives.
Love and Hip Hop.
Give me the Love and Hip, all of those. Give me my sports. Football is on. College is about to start. October you would have football, pro, college, and then pro basketball. I'm sports. I'm in my zone.
But
with
you
sports.
don't have like a fun activity you like to do?
I really don't.
You do it with everybody. You just.
I guess because I've been doing it for so long, that has kind of become me.
Oh,
and
okay.
I think if you take that away from me, I'm just kind of
You're not having fun.
What am I doing? But I really don't. I really don't. To be very honest, I'm sitting here thinking like, do I? I really don't. It's just kind of here and there. And more recently, it's just really here and there and up and down. But having fun with other people.
You do it with other people? Wow.
Yes.
I'm
a people person.
Oh, see, I'm not.
See, and I'm
not.
I am out.
I don't mean that in a mean way. I'm just introverted. That's all I'm trying to say. I love people.
And I'm opposite. I am out there. I love being around people. I think that's been my purpose and my calling since, maybe 9 or 10.
That's when you discovered it?
Yes. I remember my church at the time, they were coming to the apartment complex and they were introducing themselves. They just started a new church, hey, how are you? And all of that. And I was like, okay, cool. That was Saturday. Sunday, they came back. They had to go back down the street to get more cars because I had everybody ready for church. And they're looking like, well, wait, it was like 3 or 4 of y'all yesterday.
Right.
Where are this 10 and 12? And I was like, okay, let's go.
You sound like an evangelist.
Girl.
You do. Not like the street evangelist, but like the practical. You just brought them to church. That's evangelizing.
It was like, look, let's go. You wanted kids. And that was my family church home up until my first marriage. And I was 18 or 19. And when I left there, of course, when I got married, I went to his church. But that's
easy for you. That's so hard for me.
Is it?
Oh my God.
I at times wish I could kind of not be in the forefront We had an event last week, a back to school event, and I promise you, I tried to stay in the back. I honestly did. I tried.
Nails on the chalkboard.
It was
can't help it.
You know, you can. But I honestly, but to be very honest, I love to be behind the scenes. I never have to be in front of a camera. I never have to be out front. I work best behind the scenes.
But with people.
It just kind of, brings it out, and I'm just kind of there.
Well, that's inspiring.
But I really don't. I have to think about that a little bit more.
And you should try it.
I'm trying.
Like one time.
Yeah.
And see what you do, like by yourself. Do something you really want to do.
But that's the thing. I think I don't know what I really want to do. That's the kicker.
Oh, okay.
I think that's the kicker.
I went skydiving. I jumped out the plane, 15,000 feet.
I'll be in a plane.
But you're not gonna jump
but
out.
that plane is going to land. I'm not jumping out the plane. The plane has to land with me in it. No, I don't think I can do that part.
Okay, that's a lot. I know that went to 100. I'm sorry. But that's what I did. I jumped out the plane.
Awesome. But see,
theme parks?
I have to think about theme parks. I like walking. I don't do the roller coasters.
Oh, okay.
I'm the one that will go with you.
And watch.
And have the best time, and I will hold your bags all day long.
Oh.
I'll watch the babies, but I'm not leaving the ground. I'm not leaving the ground. That's one thing I will not do.
All right. We'll think of some other stuff.
Now you got to think. I'm going to go home and start thinking, like, okay, what do I need to do?
But yeah.
I know.
Okay.
That's good.
Well,
got me thinking.
I kind of shared my testimony with grief. And I kind of told you a little bit on the phone. My grandfather, y'all can't see it, but I picture him. But my grandfather, he died of cancer in 2014. I watched him take his last breath.
Wow.
And it was very traumatic. I was 20 at the time, but it was traumatic because I've never experienced death. Nobody taught me about death.
Yeah.
Nobody close to me ever died. Of course, people die every day around me, but it was the first time that was something
close.
Really close. And he was like my dad. He raised me. My grandparents raised me. So I never grieved that because I didn't know about grief. You know, you don't know. You just kind of, I don't think you really ever move on. You just kind of just go on with life.
You move on.
You go on with life. And then 2022, my godmother died of the same thing, cancer. Wow. And I was kind of like it was the same circumstance. Like my grandfather was in hospice for a week. She was in hospice, but at home for a week before she died.
Oh, wow.
And I remember like moments where, because it's like when you see somebody in hospice and you don't know when they're gonna actually his death made me very anxious. I had a lot of anxiety, so I was telling God while she was landing, I'm like, look, I don't want to be here when she take her last breath. Like, let me go home. And they called me. Not that I didn't want to be there, but I'm like, I can't.
You couldn't handle
that again, you know. So I always went there like trembling, like I don't know if this gonna be the day.
Oh wow,
a lot of anxiety. So, and then she eventually passed away, and I was truly grieving because I ended up having her ashes.
Oh wow,
I got her ashes. Never thought
that you would be the one that would have her ashes.
And then I opened the box, and I'm like, man. And I just couldn't believe, like, is this her?
Is this her?
I'm like, no, this look like rocks, you know. And but they look like, you never seen ashes?
No.
They look like, it don't look like when you put like trash or something like that. It's like it's actually hard, like rocks that disintegrate in your hand. So it was just great.
Oh wow! I think you know what? I mean, I've seen it like on TV. You just kind of brush, but physically up front, no.
No, okay. I felt, and I don't think this was wise because I have a necklace with some of her ashes in it, and I did it myself. Don't know why I did that, but I had on gloves and everything, and just traumatized myself. But before I gave her ashes to her son.
Yes.
So, but that was my experience. I can't teach nobody about grief. I know I can't. I don't grieve well all the time. Sometimes I do.
Yes.
Sometimes grief is it's an emotion.
An emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, it's such a sneaky thing. So
it is.
I wanted to bring you on because you have a great, amazing story. Not amazing circumstance, but a great story. Now with your son.
Yes.
I'm friends of his friends.
Okay.
That knew him. So when that happened,
Who
it
didn't know that
was
child?
yeah, and I've seen him around. I'm like, oh, that's her son.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't put it together.
together.
I was like, oh, I seen him around, because I'm from South of Popka, so I'm like, oh, okay. But it was
That's
really
him.
sad. So I wanted to know your story. Now, y'all, triggering moment. If you can't watch it, get off. So, if you can, sit, learn, unpack it with us. We just processing right now. So,
that word processing.
To the moments, I guess you can talk about, the moments leading up to his death. Or first, I want to know about him. Who was
my
Antwaun
child?
Miles. What's his name? Derek
Cummings. Better known lately as Antwaun Miles.
Yeah.
My child was full of life. He is his mother's child and his father's child. Very outgoing. You couldn't get him to sit down. Not shy at all. When I tell you Derek was a people person, that was him.
Extra.
Very much so. And again, I couldn't blame him because he was taken from me for the most part.
Yeah.
Out front, no matter what, from grade school, middle school to high school in life. Wanted to be the center of attention. Had to be the center of attention. I believe if the center of attention was not on him, he was going to figure out a way.
He was going to find it.
It has to be me. It has to be me. Very fun-loving, very caring.
Y'all look exactly alike, by the way.
And that's my twin.
My gosh.
But you know what? A lot of times, I really didn't see it until later in life. There are certain times he would look like Dad, certain times he would look like me, or whomever. But at one point in time, I really didn't even think, it's not my child. The only thing that we did have was the long heads. Long heads running our family. The long heads and ears. That's why, for the most part, you would never really see me with hair up when I did, if I had a hairstyle, because the ears stick out. So it's always like
long.
this. Oh, girl. When you grow up being called long head, pepperhead, and you
translate
that to when you translate that to your children.
No, that's low.
and that's
I've never heard that.
Hence, Derek would grow. He wound up growing his hair to kind of do the same thing, to hide the face and to hide the ears. But very fun-loving, caring, and most of all, did any and everything for his children. His children was his world.
Is he your oldest?
He was the oldest. Firstborn. November 28th, 91, 3 o'clock on Thanksgiving.
In the morning?
Yes.
Wow.
I went in Tuesday morning because I just thought I was going to have him. This joker didn't come until Thanksgiving. We go in, and I'm like, look, take this child. I'm tired. Be done. We go in. I have him. I'm knocked out for the rest of the day. I had him at 3 o'clock. I think I got up maybe about 7. They bring me in hospital. Thanksgiving food.
That sounds terrible.
That was my Thanksgiving. But I had my turkey, so to speak.
Yeah.
Derek was 8'2". At the time, I hadn't had my little growth spurt, even though I was I think 2021. But he was a really big baby. We did everything, come home. That's your bundle and joy. So you want everything to be about your firstborn. You can't do this, you can't do that. No, don't touch my baby, don't do this, the whole 9. You're very protective.
Sanitizer.
And it is true. Oh, you got to watch it. And my mom couldn't tell me anything about my child. No, what the doctor said, and she would look at me like, okay, you and that doctor. So okay, yeah, that was her. But for the most part, your bundle of joy, he is growing up, becoming a man, becoming a father, and living life.
Was he a mama's boy?
You know what?
He was kind of both.
I think both, but because 16 were divorced, so he felt as though he had to now become man of the house. But he was doing things not for me. Now we're living in Orange Center at the time, and he wanted to, help with the bills. Okay, but you can't go rob Peter and Paul to help me with the bills.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you got to leave. So we would bump heads, the typical, teenage young man. But for me, even though we were living in Orange Center, I had 2 mottos, and I didn't kind of fit the mold. I had a job. I was paralegal, so I got up every morning. I went to work, my children. I dropped them off to school. We did football or whatever. I wasn't the typical mom at that time that stayed there. Most of the moms were home moms. I would put them that. So I didn't fit the bill. We spoke differently. You know, I would have my children out on the football field correcting children because they mispronounced the word. Look, sweetheart, we can't do that here. I'm gonna need y'all to be careful where we are. But it was just, you know, the home life. But he wanted to be, you know, man and Ray. I didn't know how to do that. I don't know how to raise thugs. So if that's what you want to do, you got to go. You know, and so with me being a paralegal, I had an emancipation papers drawn up. You want to go out there and act a fool, you will now be a part of the state of Florida. I didn't have time.
Wow.
No. Because I had his brothers, Dewan and DeMarcus. You know, so it was kind of, I had other children that I needed to, you know, to take care of. And so I would always say, we're in the hood, but we're not of the hood. Two things. You're born black and you're a male. You already have 2 strikes against you. My job as mom is to not allow that 3rd strike. So what you're going to do, you're going to be a productive citizen in society. Right. You're going to do this, you're going to do that, the whole 9. And, you know, you say all these different things to your children, but you never think that they are paying any attention to you. And I remember him putting up a post a few years ago, and he made mention of that. I said, my child really was paying attention. He was listening. You know, like, who would, you know, really have thought that? But, you know, but coming up, you know, single mom trying to do what could be done to raise 3 young black men in today's society, and making sure that they were going to be, you know, productive.
That had to be hard, though.
After divorce, it was. But for me, I think that's where the strongness, so to speak, comes into play. That's when you became strong. Yeah, because you're in the hood. Yeah, you know, you was
kind of forced into that type of strength, though. It's not like you chose that.
Believe me, I tell people all the time, I didn't ask for this. I didn't want it. But because of the way I thought and the way I still processed, I knew I had to be there for my children. And I did not want Derek to be trying to raise Dewan and DeMarcus. So I went into a career that I was home during the day, at work, and then, you know, home in the evening. Saturdays and Sundays, you know, Saturdays all day football, then all day basketball. Sunday it was church. And I tried to make sure that I kept a male figure in their life, around them, doing something, whether it be their coaches, you know, an uncle or you know, older cousin or something. I'm not a male, so I don't know what men go through. Right. However, I'm going to be there as much as I can, you know, to try and direct you. You know, and so Derek decided he was going to act, you know, I guess kind of, oh, my mom's for real. Yes, you got to go. Right. And when he realized that I was for real for that, he buckled down and actually wound up, you know, having his first baby. And that's really what slowed Derek down. Slowed him down, okay. Because of Jacquilla. And
that called when you did when he had to get out, was that the strain in y'all's relationship?
Not really a strain. It wasn't. I think he really felt, I guess, well, it was kind of twofold. I guess he felt, okay, well, she really does care. Because he could see how other parents and how other moms could just let John go. And he realized, okay, well, my mom really does care. And I told him, I'm doing this because, you know, I don't want you to be 6 feet under, or I don't want you to spend the rest of your life in jail, you know, and help me out. You got brothers, you know, 2 brothers, like, seriously. Example. You know, be the example for them. And I think after Jacquilla was born, and then right after, Jalen's born, so he had to grow up a lot faster than he wanted to. And by having the kids, it changed him. It really did. I think his purpose changed because now he had something to really live for. And that was Jacquilla and Jalen when he, you know, of course, other kids. But to start out was Jacquilla and Jalen that slowed him down.
And he was a promoter, right?
He got into promoting.
Or did he do a lot of different things?
Oh, he was
I could tell
Derek.
He was a people person.
He was Pooh Bear, D-Rock, Diverse, and then eventually Antwaun Miles. So if anyone comes to me and they make mention of one of these names, I knew where they knew him from. Wow. You know, Pooh Bear, it was the Jones era, on center. Diverse is when he had the little bit of rap career. And then I found out, it's like, Derek, you can't use.
Why you called it a little?
Because
you said it was a little bit of a raccoon.
Because at the time, he just he just thought that he was just the world's greatest. And I'm like, no, you're not. Like, come on. You probably had the potential, but I didn't see it. And for one, everything is little to me. You know, little boy, little girl, little this. And I got that from my aunt. So it's like, okay, you can't use diverse because there was a clothing line called Diverse.
Yeah.
And so
copyright
kind of
that.
Leaves that alone. Yes. So we leave that alone. My brother, his name was Laramie. So his middle name is Antwaun. And Derek went everywhere with Laramie. That was his uncle. That's his big brother. That's who he looked up to. And so he comes to me one day and he says, what if I honor my uncle by using Antwaun? I was like, fine by me. And to this day, I really cannot remember. We have no idea where Miles came from.
No, you can't remember?
I cannot remember. Next thing you know, it was just Antwaun Miles, and he was just like there. And so he's throwing out, these little names, and I was like, well, okay. I really tried to call him Antwaun when we were out and about, but
Derek.
Look here, little boy. Derek, I don't have time for that.
Right.
And I tried to, but later on, he got into promoting, literally during COVID. We were on the house.
2020?
Yes, that April. And I remember May 2nd is when the world was kind of coming, well, at least Orlando was coming off of the home confinement. I know this, whatever, I can't think of what it was called, but
curfew.
The curfew thing. Yes.
Yeah.
So he's like, Mom, we're going to throw a party. Where? When? How? They do an Airbnb, and in the height of COVID, they throw a party.
Wow.
Him, his cousin Paul, and his cousin Ryan. The cousins is what they call themselves. And from there, the promoting portion of it started picking up. Like I said, Derek was free flowing. He knew how to navigate. He knew how to talk to people. And that's where the promoting part came in. He was still working full time. And by then we were still working at home. Some people were working at home. Some went back to offices. But Derek was still at home. And he had all day to come up with these crazy schemes.
Ideas and parties.
You answer a call here and there, and then next thing you know, you're back on live. And for one, I tell people all the time, Derek was bored. He had nothing to do. That's why he would go live 24/7. He was bored. His brother was working. So at the time, the brothers were living together. So he was bored half the time. But then he talked with me and he said, Ma, I think I want to go into promoting full time. I said, okay. If you feel as that's going to, maintain your bills, maintain the kids, go for it. And he just started, little things. Like I said, it was him, Paul, and Ryan. They would start little things here and there. And then it just took off.
It just grew.
And next thing you know, he's like, Ma, I have my first little gig by myself. Some little restaurant. And me, I'm there because I like to protect my child.
Yeah.
And then the crowd, I like to protect the crowd and those that are coming as well. You got to have an adult with a reasonable mind.
Yeah.
And I was that.
He was probably the only adult there with the reasonable mind.
The only adult. You see the young ladies come in and you're looking at them like, okay. And then you got the guys coming in.
I seen them lives on video, on them part of the video. I'm like, oh, they lit.
Honey. Just imagine some of the time having to be there. Because, again, I wanted to protect my child.
Yeah.
But if he was doing things with young ladies, I wanted to protect them as well.
Go
do you.
Oh, that's good. Go back. Hold on. Go back. So,
almost definitely.
I'm not bagging. Okay. I'm not bagging on nobody's parenting skills. I'm just speaking in general. Most mothers with their sons, they only protect their sons.
Oh, no.
They don't look like my grandmother didn't play that with my uncle.
Yes.
Like, she's nice to every woman you bring in, but you're not about to.
You're not going to disrespect them.
Disrespect how I raised you.
Not at all.
And I'm your mother. I'm a woman.
Yes.
That's how you look at me. You know.
And that was the thing, because
that's really good.
He did a video for the strippers, and men were there. And I, came in, I had them all set up, I had the little snacks for them, and everything, make sure that they were together, and everything was good. I stayed in the front. Everything was done in the back. And of course, the young lady was just like, okay, what I do? Sweetheart, go do what you do. I'm not even here.
Right.
However, I was there to make sure that, again, because Derek was doing this, I don't need my child to be arrested because, oh, now somebody's, accusing you of rape or anything.
Yeah.
But then I did not want those young ladies to feel like they were uncomfortable as well. Yes, this is their job, but they were not at work. They were at a studio.
Yeah.
So I needed to make sure. So my first priority was going to always be my son. But if he was dealing with young ladies, I had to make sure that those ladies were taken care of.
Because a lot of moms would just leave.
Oh, no.
Do their thing. And
I was the first one there and the last to leave. And I'm prompt. Where you told me to be here, look, I was sitting in my car for like 30 minutes.
Wow.
Because like they always say, if you get there at exactly on time, then you're late.
Oh, wow.
And Derek was the same way. He did not like being late for anything. If you were late, his whole day is thrown off, and it was like me. But it kind of morphed in from there, from the music career. And then he felt that he could do a lot more with the promoting.
He went full time.
Wow. And they were able to, he was able to maintain his whatever he was doing. And he was creative. I mean, he had the female team. You don't have too many, promoters around here that would have the all-female team. You can be short, tall, fat, skinny, white, black, brown. I taught my child to be respectful to everyone. And he did. Again, you can have him here. It did not. Mom, this is such and such. Hey, beautiful, how are you? Let's go. Let's sign this piece of paper. And I think the first time I had them sign contracts, and they were looking at me like, sign a contract, baby, you need to sign a contract.
Right. You was teaching them something.
Yes. And they were looking at them thinking like, no one taught you this. And I realized a lot of people didn't have me. And Derek would always tell me, Mom, you have to be reminded that they don't see the world the way you do. And I'm like, why don't you know this? You should know this. And it's like, Mom, but remember, okay, you should. They were not taught that. And so I had to always remember that. But he got into the promoting, and I would tell him, okay, now that you're promoting, you still be mindful. Because Derek was 5'6", I guess, not even.
It was only, he looked taller than that in the photo.
Well, I don't think he was that tall. I know he wasn't 6. No bigger than a flea.
5.
But you would have thought that he was 17 feet tall, 500 pounds. Derek, be mindful of what you're seeing out there on the internet. Derek, be mindful of what you're putting out on the internet. Derek, be mindful what you're holding in your hand
when you're taking pictures
you're out there
and the videos. Yeah, that's very true.
But Ma, I got to do this. But one thing I can say about Derek, he was a character. He was Derek and Antwaun, 2 different people.
Who was Derek?
Derek was the one that was come home and just want to be around his kids, take the kids to Defy, jump around. Ma, you got to come with me to go take the kids here. The daunting dad, the daunting son. Antwaun, buck wild. Had to be the life of the party. The light had to be on Antwaun. But as soon as he would leave the club or whatever he was doing, he got in his car. That was Derek. Go and do whatever he needed to do, when, where, and how. But he knew how to turn it on. And I think I'm the same way, and I think he gets that from me, to the point. I know how to be Miss T, and I know how to come in and relax. I know how to be Tuwanan out there, the community activist. And then I know how to come home and relax. So I think he picked that part up from me. But he loved it. He was just really getting into the groove. And I would look at him, and he was telling me about the new club. It's like, Ma, I got this new club, and, we're going to be doing this, and, me and the cousins, we're going to be doing this. And I mean, he was so excited. When he was with Guilt, technically Wednesdays was his night. This boy he rented a charter bus. They did a Playboy theme. The amount of people coming off of this bus had a Playboy theme. And they loved it. He would come up with Ma, what about this? Boy, I don't know. Ma, what if we do this? I don't. Look, just go. Just be careful in doing so. But his mind was so wild. And I think, the city, knew that he was a good person. And he just wanted people to laugh.
That's all I saw.
He just wanted people to laugh. He was a big jokester. He just wanted people to laugh. But it's a cutthroat industry as well. So Derek, be mindful. Be careful. I got this, Ma. I got this.
How often did you tell him that?
Oh, gosh. I tried not to tell him as often as I wanted to. Because I didn't want him to feel as though that he was not free to be himself. Because a lot of times you can stagger your children by, over mothering them, so much. Go, be careful, be mindful. But he was like, Ma, I got this, I got this, I got this. And I was like, okay, excuse me. And even leading up to, I had, like I said, I volunteer a lot. So my weekends was from, one meeting to the next. And so literally 4 months prior to, I said, you know what? Okay, I'm going to stop being here, stop being there, and I'm going to be present in my kids' lives and my grandkids. So I got out of pretty much everything. And so I'm only a member of 2 organizations. And I was like, okay, cool. Picking up the grandkids, spending time with everyone. Literally 4 months before all of this happened.
That's when you decided?
Yeah.
4 months?
4 months before all of this happened.
First, I wanted to say, you raised your son to be a safe man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He did what he did, but as far as you making sure he respect you being there, making sure, I'm sure that made those women feel safe in that industry. It's a lot of
definitely
wolves out there.
But for one thing, in that part, the latest part when he went from guilt to, so they would do guilt, and then the after party was the label. How he got to this label, girl, I have no clue. Absolutely none. Ma, I got this new joint, and we're going to be over here. Be mindful. He always wanted to make sure that he respect women to the utmost. He had his little issues here and there, but he made sure that, and I call it the young ladies. The young ladies are going to come out and they're going to be entertainment for the guys. He made sure that he had security around those ladies at all times. Good. So I technically employed maybe about 10 girls for the most part, but he made sure money was being thrown on the floor. No one was to touch that money. No one but them. They had security around them. He made sure they got to, in the back or whatever. He made sure that they were taken care of.
Safe.
Not a problem. Ma, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing that. Okay, Derek, be careful. So because he didn't have a record or anything, so he was able to have a bank account.
Never been to jail. Never had a record.
You know what he did? Because he was pulled over because of the tag or something.
Oh, okay.
That boy spent 5 hours in jail.
Well, that don't count.
Girl, you would have thought this boy spent 5 months in jail. He called me, Ma, what about the bail? And yes, I'm telling on you. Ma, did you call the bail bondsman? Look, little boy, it's done.
Wow.
But you have to let the process. Oh, you would have thought Derek was. Oh, and he felt like, he'd been to jail. So, he was. Girl, that boy spent. I think he went about 9 o'clock that morning. And I think he got released about 6
that night.
Girl, you couldn't tell that boy. He felt like he was, like, seriously. But Derek was portrayed, to be the big man. But I don't think my child could have handled jail. Like, God. Not if he was just in the holding part of it. He wouldn't have been able to go upstairs.
Man should be able to handle jail. Jail ain't cute.
No,
stay out of jail. Young black man, please.
Stay out. But
that don't make you tough.
He would have thought he was it. But
his environment would show him that, and the type of people he was around. Yeah. So I get that.
But he was able to, so his main role now is, of course, promoting, getting, the latest hip hop person here or rapper or whatever. But he also, his side hustle was selling $1 bills to, the young men who couldn't get a bank account. And I'll leave it like that.
Okay.
And so that was kind of like a little side hustle. And so hence all of the videos with him having money was him going to buy ones for them. But Derek, do you have to show the money? But Derek, do you have to show the money? Such and such is not doing it. But Derek, do you have to show the money? And he looked at me and he was like, but Mom, but this is me. And when he said that, I said, you know what?
Okay.
I could not stop him from being him. Cool. does everything, the whole nine. And like I said, everyone, he was just so ready, for the next level. Ma, I have this plan, and Ma, we're going to do this. And so, Ma, we got to be able to do this. So I need contracts, because we're all about contracts. I'm like, you can't get green until you have black and white. You have to.
That's good.
Yeah. Because word of mouth, what is that?
It only gets you so far.
That part, you have to, because then you can get dogged out so much. But if I have you a legal contract, that means, oh, we're here. So he was all about, okay, well, my mom says I need a contract. Yes, you do. And he knew not to sign his name on anything unless I was present.
Wow.
I don't profess to be the world's greatest, but me being a paralegal, I had a little bit of knowledge. And things I did not understand, I made sure I asked whomever.
Yeah.
I worked around attorneys. Hey, I need you to read this before my child signs his life away. What does this mean? Never. So he goes on, and and that was him. He was so excited and so ready for the next level.
So, sorry y'all, we just had a commercial break, but I want to talk about, so what was, because I remember my last conversation with my grandfather and my godmother. I'm sure you remember it, but what was it like? Was it sunny outside?
It was. Actually, it was on a Friday, and he had Prince and Pharaoh in the second set, is how I call them. So he had just picked the kids up. Prince and Pharaoh's mother had just moved on the same side. And so he needed a bed. And I had just literally got a bed set. And I literally just got that from my supervisor. And I said, okay, I left work early, pick up my cousin, go to the storage, pick it up, take it to the house. And I call him. I said, well, I just took the bed and dropped it off. I said, so when you get a chance, come back over, to put it together. Because I wasn't about to put it together. And I said, you have Prince and Pharaoh with you? He's like, yeah, they're here. I said, well, I'm tired. I've had a long day. I'll talk with y'all tomorrow. Bye. Kiss the kids. Love you. Hung up. Went home. Went to sleep. I'm out. The next morning, about 8 o'clock, I get a phone call from the girlfriend. She was like, is Derek there? Because I was in a townhome. And I said, not that I know of. So went downstairs, and I didn't see him. I said, no, he's not here. She says, okay, well, he didn't come home. I have appointments today. You need to come by and pick up Prince and Pharaoh. Sure, not a problem. Okay. So I go and get my mom. So we're in the car. We're heading there. We go in and we're doing everything. And as you're coming down Lake Howell and getting ready to turn into his apartment complex, I don't see what my mom saw first, because my eyes are still making sure no cars are coming.
Oh, you was leaving to go toward where he would stay?
Yes, where he stayed, because I had to go pick up the kids because she had an appointment.
Okay. So
I'm on my way to his apartment.
Okay.
Sure.
And she hadn't been outside.
She hadn't been outside.
Had gone outside.
I said, so give me a few minutes. We're on our way. I get there, and again, as you're coming off of Lake Howell and you're turning this way, again, I don't look up, because where I'm at, I can't really see, but my mom's on the passenger side. So she sees crime tape, police department, vehicles and everything. I don't see it right away. They're already there. I don't see it right away. So I pull up and I was like, wow, it's a lot of commotion going on. Still ain't paying attention. I get up, I park, because where he normally parks, his car was not there. So cool. So, but I couldn't go any further because of where the police tape was at. So I stop, I park on the side. I run in, I get the kids up. But it was cool that morning. I had a little chill. So I go back to the car to get the jackets that my mom happened to have.
You still not knowing?
No. As I'm walking back to the apartment, being nosy,
looking,
trying to look. And I said, I pray for that situation. Whatever's going on, I pray everything's okay. All right, Lord, do it. I get my grandkids, get in the car. I text him, I got your children, come get them.
And you left?
I left. That had nothing to do with me. So I thought. My child wasn't there. My child's car is not home. So I'm thinking, okay, he's had a long night. He's probably at one of the boys' home, because they didn't really drink. So I'm thinking, because he was smoke. I'm just thinking he's high or whatever. So I'm thinking he's crashed at someone's home closer to the club. Didn't pay no attention to that. I leave. I had a baby shower to do. I had Shayla's baby shower. So I go back home getting ready to do my devil eggs because that's my specialty.
Still not knowing.
That had nothing to do with me. Prince and Pharaoh go upstairs, play, blah, blah, blah. DeMarcus, I'm getting ready to head out. Prince and Pharaoh is upstairs. I still haven't talked with Derek, so I'll find out in a minute where he's at. I leave home because her baby shower starts at 2. I leave home about 1. And something said, okay, look here, girl, call just to be on the safe side because now this is getting kind of unusual. Yeah. Derek would have, no matter what time he lays down, he's back up. I said, so I called the Castleberry Police Department. They don't have his name. So I'm like, okay, cool. Nothing to do with me. I do the baby shower. We have a beautiful time. So I leave. Oh, it must be 7:45. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah. Oh, Lord, yes, we missing prayer. I'm so sorry, JCLC. Lord have mercy. Mama always goes,
okay.
Rip me out of doing it. So sorry. We're going to be there in the morning.
We got you. And so
So you did the whole,
I did the whole day.
The girlfriend calls you the next morning. You answer, you go. You're a great grandmother, by the way. You go. I wouldn't have gotten them kids right away. Y'all going to have to figure it out. But anyway, I'm not. Anyway. Go get the kids to help out. Then you drop them off. You get ready for the baby shower. You're hosting. You go and you do it. You went to that was your son's crime scene. You didn't even know, and you went on about your day because you thought.
I did. I literally went on about my day
Because you prayed for it and you just kept going.
When I called, they did not have his name, and I was like, okay, fine.
Everything's fine.
So I'm out. Okay, now it's about 5:00. Okay, now I'm kind of getting a little nervous. But still nothing. I leave the baby shower, go to the club, talk with them to say, hey, because now it's all on Facebook. Has anybody seen Antwaun Miles? It's
I remember that.
However many times. And so I'm like, okay. She said, no, she hadn't seen him. I said, okay. On my way back from the club, I lived maybe about 5-10 minutes away. I said, well, let me call and do a missing persons report because now it is definitely unusual. But again, I'm thinking my child, I really, really thought that my child, somebody had kidnapped him and he's being held ransom. Because I know my child has a mouth. My child had made somebody mad. They got him in a safe house somewhere, beating him up.
Yeah,
that was my initial, yes. And so the cops come to do a missing persons report. There are about 10 sheriff's officers that showed up at my apartment. And I'm like, I just want to do a missing persons report. Some of them leave, and I think 3 of them stayed. And so I'm telling them, hey, this is what happened, this is what he had on. We called and talked with the girlfriend. She said, this is what he had. Tells me to go to the Instagram because he had just did the post. So I showed the Instagram to them, told them who he was. He's a promoter. I had to make them know that he is a good person,
influential and a good person. Yeah,
you're not looking for no problem to thugs or whatever, but mine was not that.
Yeah.
So I needed them to know who they were looking for.
Yeah.
He is a family man. He has a girlfriend who's pregnant. He's doing this. I need you to know who my child is. So I don't need y'all to BS around. Taking your time.
Yeah.
And so we do everything. So we're there for about an hour, and I said, okay. By then, now I still have the grandkids. And so I go inside, I put them in, get them ready for bed or for a shower. I tell DeMarcus, the kids are in the shower, let me go back outside because I had been in the house for a little minute. And I said, okay, so now let me go back outside. As I walk outside, the black SUV that's in front of my apartment is the same SUV that I saw at the crime scene that morning. But let me go back up prior to that. Now, mind you, I've already called Castleberry Police. That's not my child. Derek had been in the apartment complex for about 6 months. But you know us, we ain't changing our address. So everything in his card had his previous address.
Okay.
By the grace of God, there was one piece of paper in his card that had my parents' address on it. Castleberry Police Department sends OPD to my parents' home. I'm talking to OPD and I said, oh, Castleberry Police, they don't need me. They're just probably thinking, when I called earlier, they didn't have my child, still in the dark. And nothing coming, nothing kind of coming two and two. So I put them in the shower or in the tub. They were taking their bath. I walk outside, and as I see that black SUV, and I knew. I watch First 48 all day, every day.
Me too, but
I do.
So
I knew.
You knew right there that moment.
Immediately, as I saw that black SUV and the detectives walking toward me, I literally stood out in front of my apartment and I said, "I know. Come on in." And I said, "I know why you're here. You're here to tell me that you found my son."
You said it like that?
I promise you, I said it just like that. My mom and my sister standing 2 feet away from me. The 2 detectives and the sheriff's officer, they stop because they're looking like,
They're not used to that.
Yeah. Come on in. They come in. We sit down on the couch. He proceeds to tell me, upon arrival that morning, they found a deceased male. And of course, I had to identify my baby.
You had to go.
No. So they took pictures. Because by then, they had already removed him. So it took them all day to figure out who he is.
Okay.
Now, had he had his license changed, we would have known as soon as they got. Yeah. They could have walked down the walkway and knocked on the door, and that would have been it. But again, black people, we don't change our address.
No.
And he get it from his mom because I did the same thing.
I've done it.
I mean, I just did mine maybe 3 months ago, but
wow.
I understand. Yeah. And I hadn't been in that place for a while. I'm like, okay, I'll do it when it's time for me to renew.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So they come in. We're sitting on the couch. My mom and sister are sitting on one couch. I'm sitting on the other. And he says, of course, sorry for your loss. And I said, remember, I told you as you walked up, you were here to tell me that you have my son. I said, but the thing is, you have my son. Because at that time, I told him, I said, I'm thinking somebody has my child. He's cut up, and this was me. He's cut up in 1,000 pieces. Someone has killed him and, or buried him. I would never have a chance for closure. And I looked at him, I said, now, where's my son? Mind you, Jacquilla, my mom and my sister over there, they're on the floor, heart palpitation. They're,
And you're just calm. That's why I'm trying to. What were you like? We gotta pause. We gotta pause. I mean, because you're not. It didn't hit you.
You know what?
Or did it hit you?
It did. It did. It hit me. I totally understood that my child was gone. I knew when he walked up and I saw that car. I knew it. But it wasn't for the fact of me trying to hold my emotions or not cry. That was, I don't know, that's just me. But, and the detective is standing there and he's like, Miss Ware, I've been doing this for 25 plus years and I've never had a reaction. And I said, you probably never will again. This was my whole demeanor. I promise you, as I'm sitting in front of you, that was my demeanor on January 28, 2023.
Have you ever unpacked that? Why did you, not saying, did you kind of like, it sounds like, I'm a psychology major, I promise. I'm not trying to trick you. I promise to God.
Good.
But I just be, it sounds like, it sounds like, because you heard this thing, fight, flight, or freeze. And when our nervous system, it sounds like your emotions kind of like froze.
Cut off.
But your active side, like the activist, your activist side kind of
takes over.
Where's my son? Come on in. Yes. But your emotions kind of froze right there.
It did. And I don't deny that. I don't deny it. Because I've just been that way.
Your whole life?
It's being the only child for so long, you learn how to play by yourself. And it's sad when you play a Monopoly and it's 4 people and you remember it's Tom's go.
That's true though.
Go, Tom. You just roll the 5.
Yeah.
And then now it's my go. But it wasn't the fact that, that it did not resonate with me that my child was deceased.
It did.
I fully understood exactly what he was telling me. And so now, you have the emotions and adrenaline. I just wanted to know where my baby was.
So and that's when he showed you the pictures?
He showed me the pictures, and so I had to identify. He had the 1991. And I said, yes, that's my baby. So they only took pictures of his...
Oh, they didn't show his face?
No, they didn't show his face.
Okay.
I identified him just from his tattoos on his arms. And I said...
Of in the car?
No, because so I didn't find any of this out, till
Till
much later. So we do everything. I identify him. So now I have to tell brothers and sisters, because at that time, unfortunately, my mom calls her sister to tell him. My cousin immediately puts it on Facebook.
I don't like when people do that.
That part. So now I'm gonna tell you.
That's so
Now my child being gone.
No offense to your cousin, but
my child being gone, I was okay. But when that happened, girl, when I tell you I am mad, now the emotions are coming in, because there's a brother in the Bahamas. There's a brother in Rhode Island. There's a sister on a girls' trip. There's another sister home. The cousins who he felt they were more like brothers. One's in Utah, one's home. I have to tell them before they start scrolling on the Facebook. And so I'm rushing. I was mad about that, because I was rushed in trying to tell my kids that their brother is gone.
And that takes, you can't just...
Now I'm trying to call Dad. Dad didn't answer, so I called the sister, and they called. And so now the last person that I have to tell is the pregnant girlfriend. So I call her. And, I'm like, hey, you remember all those cops that was out there this morning? And I said, well, unfortunately, that was Derek in the back of the apartment complex. So each person that I called, I made sure that they had somebody with them. I couldn't get to everybody. So I had to call them to say, hey, my baby's not here. And so then the emotions start, they're kind of coming along. And
so they came slowly? Although you were mad. Yes. I know you were.
But I'm telling you, Jacquilla, I promise you. So I calling everybody. I call Apostle. So, well, Apostle, I can't make you tea in the morning.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my child is passed, and he's like, T, of course he already knew he heard it in my voice, and he was like, T, go cry. I'm like, no, I don't have time to cry. Like, Wow. He's like, no. He's like, I will see you tomorrow. And he did. He came by the next day, and he's looking at me like, you still ain't cried, have you? So I think he was more upset because I hadn't cried.
Right.
I could not at that moment, because in my mind, the way my mind thinks, now I'm in go mode. I have 2 weeks to take care of my child for the final time. So now things start going in motion. You got to call this person. You got to go, you don't think about your child going before you. So did I have a burial plot for my child? No. Now you're in go mode. I got to release him from the medical examiners. I got to get him over here to the funeral home. We got, kids to get dressed, clothes. So you go into go mode. I wouldn't say didn't bother me. I did not cry. I figured, okay, that Wednesday he gets released. We go to the funeral home. I needed to see my baby before they did anything to him. I needed to see my baby. So when they brought him back from Leesburg, because he went to Leesburg, they had just received Derek maybe 2 hours before we got there. They had no preparation of anything from him. I needed to see my baby before being made up and all of this other stuff. Honey, I said, okay, now I'm going to cry. I'm going in there. I'm trying to cry, and I couldn't cry. I kissed my baby. I hugged my baby. I touched my baby. I'm just like looking.
With his wounds?
No, he was all covered. So it was just his head.
Okay.
Just his head. They had him all covered. I see. Because they literally had just gotten him from the medical examiner. And I'm like, so my baby.
And it was him.
I'm ready. Nothing. My baby. No, I go in. Now we're getting him prepared. It's the week of his funeral. We go in, and I'm like, okay, today is going to be the day.
You did.
Nothing. Thursday, we see him and get him all prepared, to making sure that he's presentable for his wake. I'm at the wake.
Didn't cry.
Nothing. We're at his service.
Nothing. So if you let's unpack this grieving. Now I know how you grieve from then. And you explain why you are, that's how you've been since you were little. So when did you cry? Have you cried yet?
Yes, but I know that I'm not finished. So I think my very first cry and outburst was the following Sunday when I came back to church. Jacquilla, to this day, I promise you, because that day, Apostle, he didn't go immediately into to preach the word. He was down on the floor. He was walking around. I don't know how I got to that altar. None.
Blur.
At all. Complete blur. But I got there, and then I let it out. I'm like, because now I'm mad. I'm like, God, how dare you take mine? Mine's doing all of this for the good. You got Man and Ray Ray around here doing this. Like, why mine? So I'm at the altar. I am going full-fledged. I get up, go to the bathroom, compose myself, get back together. That was it. That was the following week after his funeral. 3 months later, I'm home. I am trying to kick in my walls.
Angry, crying.
The whole nine. Like,
wow.
Again, God, seriously, mine, he's supposed to be here.
You were by yourself?
He has kids. Yeah, I was home by myself. I don't know where DeMarcus might have been. He has kids. He has one on the way, not knowing that we had another one on the way. But, it was just so much. And I'm like, why? I understand you, like I say, the questioning God things. I was like, I'm questioning you. Look, man, look. Jesus,
we're supposed to.
You got to tell me. You got to go talk to your dad. Like, seriously.
You were supposed
why
to.
mine?
We're supposed to.
That was the thing. It was like, okay. But I sat there and I'm like I said, it was maybe 3 or 4 months after. And I am just going mad. And I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm hurt. I'm lost. I'm confused. I'm like, what do I do? My firstborn, the one who made me a mom, he's gone. What do I do? Where is my purpose? And so now when I tell you I'm mad, I'm ready to turn the world upside down.
Wow.
Don't talk to me. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be that. And of course, everyone is seeing the strength. And I would always tell them, if it was not for my relationship with my Savior, I could not still right now sit here and talk to you about my son in the manner that I talk about my son without blowing up.
And you said something very strong and powerful. You're not done crying.
I am not. Oh no. And it's like one of the other friend girls, her name is Charlotte Cha-Cha. And we have this little thing going on with us. It's like this emotional roller coaster. Because right now, you have it's like the menopause, you're hot and then you're cold. 1 minute you can be fantastic. And in 2.4 seconds, tears come and you are, and I didn't realize at the time, and Apostle helped me understand that, I was having, and I had never heard of the expression walking depression.
Very, very true.
I had no, and I'm like, I'm fine.
It's
and he was
thing.
Like, no, you're not.
It's a thing.
And I'm like, because I felt like I'm still functioning. I'm still over here showing my face. I'm over here supporting.
You're a functional depressed person.
I come home and I sit in my bed, and the TV's on or the radio or whatever, and I don't want to move. And the kids would know. I come in, hey, how was your day or whatever. And I'm just there. And not really knowing that I'm like, okay, I am really depressed. Because I'm the type of person, I don't get depressed. Not Miss T, not Tuan. I got too many things to do. I got too much to do. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this has really, has it torn our world apart? By all means. The emotions, and what I've also let do, because I'm the prim and proper. I'm the stern.
I can tell.
You're not going to have me out of place.
Etiquette.
It's the etiquette all the way. You got to sit up and, you got to do this and that. And so I've been saying to myself, whenever it happens, y'all going to see it.
That's good. That's
whenever
a good point
happens,
to come
y'all
to.
are going to see it.
Wow.
Because I'm tired of, and me and Apostle, we go back and forth. I'm learning how to lose control.
Oh my God. I still don't know how to do that.
Jacquilla, I am learning because everything had to be, I have to be in control. I have to know that this is done, that's done. And in my head, if it's not done by me, it's not going to get done.
Right. It's not going to get done right
It's not going to get done right. It's not going to get done at all. Like, no, you have to.
Be aggravated.
Oh, like, boy, if you don't go. But I am learning. For one, Derek's death has taught me that I don't have control.
Yeah, because you didn't have control over what, after you talked to him about that bed.
And I was, and and I did not even realize it until maybe months after. I did not realize that I had an opportunity to talk to my child before he passed. It didn't hit me until months later. I was talking to someone and I was like, oh, I did talk to my child, and I told him I love him and, do whatever, because he was going out, work that night. But I am learning how to lose control.
You actually lost control when you were telling me that, how you would tell him, hey, be careful. You actually was like, when he was saying, hey, this is me, Mom.
Me. Yeah.
That's actually when you lost control of like your child, like protecting him.
I get that.
I
so get that. Because it was always because my child liked to talk. I'm like, Lord, please don't let nobody come after my child. But it wasn't in that manner. What I thought that would probably take my child would be because of his mouth. Not because of someone trying to rob him of his livelihood.
Get what he has.
Yes, that never crossed my mind. And not to someone that he knew. Oh, that would have been the furthest from my mind. It's going to be Tom, Dick, and Harry. They don't know my child because my child's running his mouth. Not someone that you took a picture with 2 months prior.
Whew, that's hard.
Girl, and I look at this picture all the time.
So I saw that. And, y'all, we're not here to talk about drama or anything like that. It's just facts.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is.
Ain't do nothing to me.
Yeah, and then I saw it because I'm from South of Park. When I saw it, I didn't know that was your son till we announced it at our church. I was like, oh, and I didn't put it together. So I actually played at the funeral.
At Derek's funeral?
I was on the drums.
Seriously? You're serious?
I was on the drums. I promise.
Oh my goodness!
I was on the drums. I was there. So I was there. What? I saw my neighborhood friends and
oh wow!
I saw the whole funeral.
Oh my goodness!
I was over there in the drums, watching you, and I remember looking at you. I'm like, she's not.
Oh.
And I didn't see it as a bad thing.
Yes.
I thought maybe that this is me assuming. I thought maybe that I'm like, at this point she probably numb. They took her son from her.
Yeah.
Because
I remember when Miss Helen, she comes up, she was like, okay, look here. You did this at your brother's funeral. And I did. It was just me. And she says, it's a lot of people out there. You in those heels. I said, Miss Helen, I got it. Because I felt as though I needed to hug everyone that took time out of their day to come and show my child love. But, and everybody has their moments and whatever. But that's...
You were there for them.
I had to be there because there are many a times that they have been there for us. So this was my way of saying, I'm here for you. And
but at this time?
At this time, yes. Because, and again, the way I think, as I told you, I had those 2 weeks to take care of my son. And when I mentioned, when I spoke at his funeral, I needed everybody there. I don't take for granted for anyone that came in, that brought my family food, to check on us, to call and everything. I needed them to get all their crying out because 3 months from then, 4 months from then, at 3 o'clock in the morning, where I'm about to knock my head against my wall and I call you, I need you then.
Okay.
I said it. I didn't put it in the realm of I did not need them then, but I did not need them then because in my mind, I got 2 weeks to take care of my baby. I know I'm going to break down. And I promise you, Jacquilla, within those 2 weeks, I still did not shed a tear.
Because it's like you put the breakdown on hold.
In
your mind.
In my mind.
You had to.
I had to because I had to take care of this. I had to do that. But again, I knew eventually that it was going to break. And my thing was with God, when I break, I need people around me because I don't know what I'm going to do, because I held it in for so long. Lord, wherever, and even when arrest was made, I just like, Lord, I need for you. I need somebody there because I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. The prim and proper Miss T was ready to look, I'm ready to go.
I'm about to look.
I'm ready. I'm about to blow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you, because I always try to leave look, y'all, we may not have no steps for you because we both, grief is there is
real.
No 1-2 step guide to grief. It's just not.
It is not.
It's just not. It's just when it hits you, you gotta not cope in a negative way. Don't, try not, because I cope badly. I was drinking. Because I didn't want to, feel it.
But you know what? It wasn't even in that aspect. It wasn't the fact that I did not want to feel. I think for me, again, the way I think, excuse me, I just didn't have time to feel. Okay, so it's been a year and 6 months now. Am I feeling it? Oh, every day.
You're feeling it now.
You're like, and it's still like the realization that my child is not here. I go back to the crime scene because just so happened somebody, because of the length of time that Derek was out there, I know my child's crime scene is on the dark web, and hence someone sent me the picture.
Of him? Yeah. Why they did that?
The gentleman said that he thought that my child was just...
And how did they get the picture? They just went up and took it?
No, because where he was, where he dropped, it was an open field.
He wasn't in the car.
Well, it wasn't an open field. No, he got out. So again, I didn't know any of this. We're kind of figuring out what might have happened. We didn't find all of this out, of course, until they did the press conference. So that day, the press conference, girl, I'm ready. We're at the police station, and my attorney said, "You can't go to that." And I was like, "Good thing that you stopped me."
Right.
We're ready to go.
You was going to be there.
I'm at work, and I'm ready for it to come on. The particular one that I was watching, they kept the camera on the chief of police. He's talking, and they're showing everything, but I still don't know what happened to my son. I tell my coworkers, I gotta go. I leave, I go home, come in, I take a shower, I'm coming back out, I'm getting ready to go to the store. One of the young ladies, she was like, "Miss T, I'm so sorry. Oh, that's messed up, this and that." And she's like, and I'm watching it again. I'm like, "You're watching it again?" And so I said, "I haven't seen it." So she gives me her phone. Jacquilla, I look down, I don't know why, just me. I look at the news report thing that they had. My child, she was watching this on a news station in Gainesville.
In Gainesville?
Gainesville. My child made it to Gainesville. And so she starts the video over. I watch it to see what happened and what's going on. And so it started putting things into perspective. Because prior to that, this was like 2 months later. So we're like, did they follow him? What happened? And, did he get a chance to do this? Did he do that? And so by listening to the press conference and getting all of that information, it was like my child did fight for his life. My child fought for the safety of his girlfriend and his kids. That was his unborn child and his kids in his home. He fought for his life. And I was like, okay, that's my child. He was going out with a bang. And so, but then the gentleman, we do the next day, I do all of the newscast, the vigil, and someone saw us or whomever, I don't even remember, and they send me a picture of my baby.
On the ground. I mean, wherever he was.
I had to see... Because, I'm pretty sure everybody was taking pictures because he was literally out in the open. Really
talking about at the point of...
yes. So they're doing the crime scene because it was, here and there. So I periodically, because...
You look at it?
I do.
Why?
I do. Because it's still, by me looking at it, it still reminds me that my child is not here. Now, mind you, I know that my child's not here.
So why that photo and not the casket photo?
I do both.
You do both?
I do both.
I can never.
I do both.
Oh my God.
I do both.
But it helps you.
It helps me. Okay. I understand it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
But it
helps you.
It helps me. Of course, I took pictures, when we got him all together. And I don't know if my child had a favorite color, so green. I was like, he's always about his money, so we did green. So of course I took pictures of my baby.
But
so
you
it
look
just
both, and that helped. And it's nothing. I'm just asking.
it's for me.
People,
Is it morbid? Probably, but for me, it helps me cope. It really does. Do I look at them a lot? No. Every so often.
When you
And then, of course, if I'm going through looking for something and I'm not paying attention to how far I've gone back, and then up pops my baby. And so then I'm like, hey, baby, and I do this every morning, his little memorial poster.
I saw that on
Facebook. I
memorial.
touch it and I was like, okay, baby, love you. Tell Jesus I love him. Y'all have a good day.
And that
Stop
helps
bothering
you.
Jesus. Jesus already told you to go sit down. And I know, for me, I do this little joke with the kids. I was like, I know Jesus talking to his daddy. Like, of all the people, Dad, you had to bring this one up here this early. He won't go sit down. He's trying to have a section over here. He got his uncle over there. He got his cousin. So things of that nature. It helps.
That's how you keep the spirit alive.
Yeah.
So
it helps. It helps.
As we end this was a great conversation.
Yeah,
by the way. I'm so glad you sat here and
I'm glad to be able to get, like you said, because I get everybody processes death differently.
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody processes grief differently. Everybody processes things in their own manner. The way I deal may not be great for you.
Right.
The way I deal may not be great for Tasha, Tom, Dick, or Harry. That's just how I deal with it. However, we have an organization called Village of Love, and all of our parents that's in there, the majority, we've lost our children to gun violence. And so we help one another. We understand, when my brother passed, I could only be there for my mom as a daughter. I didn't understand what she was feeling. I still had 3 of my kids. My kids were here. So I couldn't tell my mom not to grieve or how to grieve for her son, her only son. Yeah. So then what happened to me, and I'm thinking like, oh, wow, now we have even more of a bond because unfortunately our sons are not here. But I tell people all the time, I knew my purpose at the age of 8 or 9. And my purpose is assisting. I will assist you all day long.
Spirit, that's the gift of helps. You have the gift
I
of
know, and I stay in my lane. Now being in this new realm, and I'm like, okay, I didn't want to feel like I had to jump into this because my child's no longer here. I was already in it.
You're already in it.
You see what I'm saying? So, but it's pushed my purpose a little bit more. It's pushed my purpose harder. Now, do we have to be on the scene of every person that
lost?
No, I'm not trying to be. But I tell people all the time, give them my number. Child, my number stay on the internet.
That's crazy, Ms. Tuwanan.
I could care less. Because if I don't want to talk to you, I'm not going to answer my phone. Well, I will give you my phone number at a drop of a dime. Yeah. I can go to the gas station and, people are, the young man, not part 407-309-0645. I promise you. It makes me, I promise you. Because again, if I don't want to talk to you, I'm not going to talk to you. And I'm good at that.
That's right.
But it's pushed my purpose even further to be there. And I tell people all the time, it's not me. I know where my strength comes from.
So how do you, because I was mad at God too. Had an attitude, didn't want to serve him. I'm like, because again, me personally, I didn't know about death. And Apostle had to tell me in my time of grief with my godmother. I was like, Apostle, which is our pastor, I'm like, how come God, took her? Yeah. And then he had to tell me, God didn't take her. Cancer took her.
Yes.
Like your son, he wasn't supposed to.
They took him.
Yeah, he wasn't supposed to go at that. That wasn't his time to go. And I had to come with the grips of God doesn't stop every evil in the world. Because there's a lot of going on.
It's a lot of going on.
And this world is corrupt. Very and he doesn't stop everything. He allows certain things, and I had to cope. So how do you, first question, do you still have moments where you're upset with God?
Oh, yes.
Still, okay.
Still, yes.
Me too.
Because again, it's been a year and 6 months, and so I do, but it's not as heavy as it was before, and I understand because again, being children of God, we understand it a little bit more than the average,
yeah.
so to speak. Am I still mad? I wouldn't say mad. I would seem a little bit more upset, a little, but it's slowly calming down.
Is it that I saw my anger with God as misplaced anger. So did you, and we're not talking about the case and nothing, but were you angry at the person at some point?
Oh, girl, when I tell you, angry, whoo, Father God, angry. I mean, it's because I don't know how to put it. Angry at them, yes. Am I still angry because you took my child? Because Derek would have given you the shirt off his back. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm pretty sure in the midst of the scuffle, because this part we can talk about because it's out there. So, but again, like within the midst of the scuffle,
they got into a fight.
Yeah, they got into it was a fight. They're struggling. Someone's mask comes off, and because of who he is, and because who they are, oh, you can't just come and try and rob Antwaun Miles and get away with it. Oh, holy war. Because it would have been an Apocalypse Orlando thing. Because my child would have immediately gotten up. Oh, he would have been on the horn. Oh, when I tell you the amount of people that would have been at his place in 2.4 seconds, the amount of people that would have come from Apopka in 2.4, it would have just been, it wouldn't have been a pretty scene. However, I put everything back on them. Again, you're with my child 2 months before. You're this close to him. My child, whoever, and you. So within that time frame, it's kind of like, are you thinking about this, or was it a spur of the moment kind of thing? What were you thinking at the, you just decided to want to choose him? I mean, he had the money readily available, my child. But it was just, in that time frame of like, why mine?
So you did get tough question. Did you forgive him yet?
No.
You have not yet.
Nope.
I haven't forgiven cancer yet, so
nope.
And don't
eventually, yes, we know we're supposed to, but
don't worry about it. I got your back. Don't come for her because there's a lot of y'all out there sitting in unforgiveness. So don't come for Miss Tuwanan. She telling her truth, and that's right. That's come on now.
But I'm working on it. You know what? Let me take it back to a point. I guess it would be kind of twofold. A little bit.
Because forgiveness is a process.
Yes, that's why I say a little bit. So it's an ongoing thing, because again, when everything happened, we did the press conference, and then now things are out there. And so the city was really, really upset. The city was hot. The city was mad. The city was just like, seriously.
They were, yeah.
So I'm having to do posts like, hey, just calm down.
Yeah.
The whole nine.
Especially when everything came out. I was shocked. I was like, what?
And I'm thinking, so now, the video comes out following, by then, I think it was, one's arrested, one is now coming in. And I'm thinking, again, thank you to the city, because if it wasn't for the information that was coming, my child was loved. I'm not saying anybody else's child was not loved, but the amount of information that was coming to me, I am blessed that it only took 2 months. Everything that was coming to me, I give to the detective, and the detective was like, Miss Ware. And it was spot on. That was the thing. But just being able to kind of process, and my thing is, you always want to ask the question why, but you'll never get an answer, just
not directly from the person.
From that, but then just knowing. And once all of that happened, I was like, and I told the detective, I don't care if it takes a year, a month, or whatever. I want you to get the right people. I don't want any young man or
Just
whomever.
a black face.
That part.
Yeah.
That's not me.
That's
I
not-
want the right one.
The right one.
I don't just make sure it's
That
everything.
it lines
and
up.
it lined up. Everything that the videos showed when they did the press conference, and I'm going back and I'm watching, and I say it all the time, and I can say this portion of it. The only thing that was not caught on camera was the actual. That was it.
Well, so it was on camera.
Oh yeah. I mean, they were literally, and I'm blessed that because my child normally would take I-4 to go home. But for whatever reason, he decided to take the route that he took. By him taking the route that he took, there was cameras, left and right, camera. The entire thing, for the most part, was somewhat caught on, except the actual kill shot. The perpetrators are in the video. The perpetrators are everything.
Except for that moment.
You know, it's there, and I am grateful for the video cameras.
Yeah, I was going to say.
You know what I'm saying? Because we could still be sitting here, you know, there's so many unsolved murders. And we could be sitting here, and I could be I could be like another family waiting on answers as to what happened to their child.
Yep.
But I'm grateful that my child decided to go the route that he did. Why he went that way, no clue. He usually would take I-4 up and down, but for whatever reason,
down there, you forget about it.
That part, because they're so sporadic.
So sporadic.
And so, you know, by doing that, and knowing that, you know, he led them away from his place.
It helps
because he didn't know who was following him. You know, so being able to do that.
Being followed, you think?
At the very last minute.
Okay.
Yeah, at the very last minute.
Well, yeah.
It's from what, you know, from what we were told. Because again, prior to the news conference, you know, we're thinking that they were already there because people knew where he lived. So we're thinking, oh, they were there, they ambushed him and this and that. But having the press conference, giving us a little bit more insight. And the reason they did the press conference, and my child's a little mini celebrity in Orlando. Yeah. And I was like,
they even showed like a video clip of him talking about someone else's death, and I could tell from that. I'm like, oh, he's very extroverted.
Yeah,
he did that. No, it made no sense, man. He was very.
He was, you know, he was really.
It was funny how he did it. He was like, no, it made no sense. So I know that's right.
He told me, he says, Mom, getting ready to do an interview about such and such, and I was like, okay. But my child was very charismatic, and he loved being in front of the camera. He could, you know, cameras was it, you know. And he did a video called Warlando.
Wow.
About, you know, all of the different murders and things that was taking place. You know, like you said, people see Disney World, but they don't see the other side of Orlando. You know, and a few years later, did we ever think that we would be putting him in part of Orlando? You know, but he lived his life to the fullest, and he's made me live. He has. He's made me live, because my life was meetings. Or I had to be over here. I had to be there. I always tell people, I'm in every place, but I'm in every place for a purpose. I'm gathering information from my community so I can take back to Miss Shaniqua. Hey, do you know this is about to happen? You know, do such and such. So I'm always in places, but I always feel like I'm in places for a right reason. But the Holy Spirit said, okay, yes, but I need you to pull back. 4 months prior, I'm ready to go, okay, let's go and get the kids. You know, we're going to go on a vacation. You know, we're going to go on a weekend or do something, because we never had that, you know, opportunity to do as much.
Yeah.
But now I'm spending a lot more time with all of my babies.
Yeah, I was going to say, grandkids.
And then we found out that, you know, we have Paris, and then we have Amora. That we didn't know about, you know. So he left me with a whole bunch of babies.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. That's a legacy, you know. So, how can I word this question? Because, so how do you, I guess not cope, do you grieve? Is your purpose and grieving synonymous now, to where your son is like, when you think about him now, it makes you go into purpose instead of...
I think it's synonymous. like I said, because I always knew my purpose. My purpose was helping and assisting. Like I said, I'm a paralegal. I never wanted to be an attorney. I will get you prepared. Go.
Right.
I don't need to be in front of nobody's judge. I will prepare all of your documents.
Make sure you're good.
That's it. I will help you. I'm an assist. I'm a great assist. So, but I think with this portion of it now, I feel as though my purpose is a little bit more. Again, not because, right after everything happened, I'm going to do this foundation. And eventually it'll be the All Miles Breaks Foundation. And with that portion, it will concentrate more on the other family members, because the majority of the time it's single moms, and all of the attention is on that mom. Oh, she's lost her child, or that dad. But they have brothers and sisters. They have kids.
Yeah.
So they feel, like they're displaced now.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a group chat every morning. Derek be the first one for the most part. All right, get up, rise and shine. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's go.
Really?
Whatever. And so with him not being here, we have to rethink. So I'm constantly, I'll throw in the group chat. All right, mental check day. Where everybody's at. We good? Or now I'll tell them, okay, your mama had a bad night. Like, whew, today, last night wasn't good. Or, I check with the kids, it's school time. And this time last year, I had to take Prince and Pharaoh to school. I was mad because he lived to take his kids to school for the first day. I get to work and I break down. Thank God my coworkers were there. And I'm like, he should be here. I shouldn't be doing this. And I go crazy.
Grief.
Knockout. This year, the same thing. Prince and Pharaoh starting school. Janala Jail is starting school. And I'm like, he should be here. He lived. If anything else besides the birthdays, I'm going to take my babies to school. Hey, that's my thing. I'm going to take babies to school.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think it is. I think it's synonymous, and it's allowing me to go further. I wouldn't say like push me. I think it's allowing me to be there for other moms who, again, a young lady told me there's a mom that lost her child 2 years ago and she is just still stuck there. I said, baby, again, here's my phone number. Please have her call me. Am I trying to go save the world? Not at all. None whatsoever. Nope.
So it's kind of like
I felt like I can be there.
It's kind of like God, because again, God didn't, take Derek. The gun took him, unfortunately. The person that had the gun. Yep. It's like God used that situation though to, you were already in your purpose, but He spurred your wings out more. That which you can soar.
Yes, and I do feel that. Again, I can't remember. Bishop Cabarrus had come up to me, and this was right after, and he said, Miss T, do you know that your name is being spoken? This was right after, maybe 2 weeks after Derek had passed, and we'd already had his funeral. And he said, do you know your name is being spoken throughout City of Orlando? I was like, okay. I said, no, sir. And he said, and it's being spoken in such the most mannerable way. And he said, I have to tell you that I spoke on your behalf, and I hope I was okay with it. And I was like, it depends upon what you said.
Yeah, right. That is true. Yeah. Depending on what you said. Yeah.
But he told me, he said, what I told the clergy, because he was doing something with the City of Orlando or Orange County, and he said, the reason she can speak about her son in the manner that she can speak about her son, she says, is her relationship with God. And I tell everybody, I go back to that. Because again, I could not sit here and talk about my firstborn child, the one who made me a mom, without breaking down and crying if I did not have God on the inside of me. Now again, is it still... And I walk by his little thing all the time, and I'm like, boy, you really not here.
You really go.
You is really go. But we talk about him in such a manner that we have to keep him, with us. And it's the same, like, even like with my brother, and I tell with my mom, I don't want to come 20 years later and I still don't think about my child. Because like she says, she does that with my brother. And, we're going on with our lives and whatnot. I'm like, that was my brother. I did what I needed to do. However, it helps.
When it's your child,
when it's honey, when it's
I can't
yours, it's like, oh my gosh.
Child.
And that's why I tell them, that's a part of you that you birthed. And again, that was my firstborn.
Yeah.
And so I always tell people, 28. Derek was born, November 28th, 91. He was shot and killed on January 28th, 2023. The first arrest was March 28th, 2023. 28 is my number. And so there are other different things that kind of happen around the 28th. Hence, I put up on the 28th.
Yeah, and I was wondering, and then
everybody was like, his birthday. I'm like, no, but it's just, it keeps him here.
Yeah.
And again, I think a few months after, I'll periodically go to his page, his Facebook page, and his Instagram page, because people will tag him and leave messages, and so I'll go through and check to see, and I'll let him know, hey, I'm here. A few weeks ago, a young lady said she's not from here. She's out of state, but she was wondering, why she hadn't seen any videos. And I posted on there and told her, unfortunately, Derek is no longer with us. Excuse me. And, whatever I put. And she responded back and was like, oh, wow, the whole time. Yeah. But I tell people all the time, the city of Orlando took a big hit with Derek. And am I trying to save the city of Orlando? No. But they feel as though if they come, that connection. Girl, I get stopped all the time. And I always tell, I have this, girl, I cannot, if I want to go to the store, do you not have to make sure that my stuff is together before I walk out my door? I don't know who the heck my child knew.
Yeah.
Hey, Mama Miles. Hey, Miss Miles. Yeah. And they come like this.
You go to Walmart.
And so I go with my hands held out because
and you go and hug them.
They need to feel, close to me. And so it's Mama Miles, Miss Miles.
Man.
And child, do people think my last name is Miles?
I bet.
And I answer.
That's probably why I didn't connect it. I was like, that's not, I'm like, that don't go to.
I answer.
But you guys look exactly alike. I just wanted to say.
Here's mine. And I answer. But like I said, and I know we're closing, I know the city of Orlando, they took a big hit from the city of Orlando. Not just his family, because Derek just thought that he was Mr. Orlando. The city was his, So I tell people all the time, it's not just his family that's grieving. It is the city of Orlando that's grieving. And I did not know how many people knew my son.
A lot of people.
That's the amazing part.
A lot of people.
And I did not know that my child did things behind the scene that he never told me. My child stopped 2 young ladies from committing suicide.
Wow.
And I was like, my child? They reached out to me. During the pandemic, he is paying for groceries. He's paying for gas. Anything that he felt that he could do.
I know you were proud.
And I'm like, okay, woo. My child really was paying attention to me. Like,
yeah.
Seriously, he really was listening. And just to have them come up to me, we did the visual, and we had 3 plus size, beautiful young ladies. They came up to me, they hugged me. He was like, he was the first person that allowed us to be a part of the team. He could care less that, we were this, we were that. And I was like, because for one thing, I always told my child, you're going to respect them. Now, did he have his little moments?
Yeah,
he did.
We all.
But, I'm very proud to be Derek's mom. He lived his life to the fullest. And I could not have been any more proud of Derek, Dewan, DeMarcus, Lex, and Ann. Those were all my babies. He was the glue that kind of kept us together.
I can tell.
And we would go back and forth, Lex and Derek, they stayed at each other's throats, but they loved him. And I would always tell him, just be mindful. Yeah. Everybody does not like you. Just be mindful. That's how he
carried himself.
Yeah. And that was him. He was
happy,
fun loving, about his kids. He had to make sure that he had his kids every weekend. No matter what he was doing, 9 times out of 10, if he had his kids on the weekend, I had them. I'm like, look, little boy, this weekend I don't want to see your children. I love them, but I don't want to see you or your children. Be mindful when you go into this promoting, Derek, you have children.
You have children. So
just be mindful. And he made sure. But that's my baby. We thoroughly miss him. There is not a second throughout the day that I don't think about him. I think there's not a second of the day that his brothers and sisters or someone that don't think about him. It is a loss to the city. It will take us a while, to kind of get back in the swing of things. But I think I said on one of the news thingies, when they took him, they took a really big piece of Orlando. And now I'm just, waiting
for it all to really be.
These two I'm waiting, but the unfortunate, I have to do it twice.
Yeah.
And I, no ill wills to them, no ill wills to their families. I don't know their families. I'm pretty sure they know me. I know I'm being watched. But I'm careful in what I do, where I go, and what I, things of that nature. I'm not dumb, I'm not stupid. Yeah. But, I am cautious. But I am really, really looking forward to the day. I am.
I hear that a lot with mothers. That like they're this any day, night type thing.
Yeah. But I mean, I get the part. And their parents may be, their parents or their relatives or whomever are hurting as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, I know that they are.
I'm so glad.
I know that they are. I'm pretty sure that they would not have wanted their babies to be in that situation.
Because both of y'all lost.
We lost.
That's no winner.
I promise you, I am not. It's not to the point, because like you said, because mind you, yes, I can't see my child in the natural anymore. And they could possibly see their child. But look how you're looking at your child. I know that they would have wanted more for their children. Any mom wants more for their child, their children. So I get that part. I'm not naive to the situation. I get that part. Do they probably feel like they let their families down? Yes, because look where they are. I think about them. I do. I do. They're periodically, it's not all the time. I say a prayer for them.
Oh, that's so good.
That's what we're supposed to do. Is it hard?
We're supposed to.
It's hard, yes, but I do. I do pray for them, and I pray for what's about to come. I pray for what's about to come.
I'm so happy you came.
This
was a really, really good conversation. Well, y'all got y'all steps. I don't know what to tell you, but grieve with God. Please, yes. Don't leave him out.
Don't leave him out. You can't leave him out.
Everybody, whatever you believe is welcome on my channel, but we believe in Jesus. Yes. He is the foundation. Yes. And the moral of the story is just grieve with God. Ask him questions. That's a part of you casting your cares on him. The Bible says that.
A whole lot of questions. Let's have a whole journal.
Journal. Yes. That's what I'll leave you with. Journal, therapy, whatever. I'm in therapy. So,
yes, me too. Oh, yes. And really quick, therapy. Yes. Therapy. Yes.
I tell them all the
therapy
time.
and grief counseling. To be very honest, I did not know the difference.
What's the difference?
I thought it was all together. Therapy, you're kind of like, we're here, we're just kind of getting it all out. And they kind of give you different ways of handling it. Grief is where they're letting you just get everything out. Where you are, and it goes further. Like you said, it's why I couldn't cry. Just like Pastor said last night. It went all the way back to her when she was 10. And I'm sitting up there thinking, okay. And when she mentioned that, we've had some things in our lives to where it should have broke us. And I'm sitting back there, I'm the ostrich, because I'm sitting back there like having the news, being presented to you, and you shed not one tear, or you don't cry, you don't do anything. So I'm like, why am I like this? And just like when Pastor Genevieve said last night, she had to go all the way back to when she was 10. So I'm like, okay, I know the same thing. I was the only child for a while. I had to remember Tom's turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now, you bottle these things up and you keep them,
and it follows you.
It follows you. So, but then when it comes out, my only thing with doing this whole thing, and I was like, God, I know the next wave is coming, and He's been true to form, is that I want to be able to have someone around me that's going to be able to catch me. You don't have to speak like, you don't have to do anything. I just, Lord, when the next one comes, I need someone that's going to be strong enough to catch me, because I don't want to fall and hit my head.
Hit your head.
But I want you to fall. I want to fall and you catch me and let me know that I'm safe. I know it's coming. I know it's coming.
But that's your prayer.
Like, yes, just catch me when I fall. Catch me when I fall.
Y'all, we gotta go. I see you next week. I'm thinking.
I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, I see y'all next week.
You,
Thank you
love.
so much.
Thank you so
much.
Giving me an opportunity to talk about my baby.
Yes.
Yeah, we have to keep him with us.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All right, y'all. I'll see y'all next week. Part 3.
Part 3.